then now getting to the Giants, I wasn't going to delay it too long. I'm not going to tell you all that for too long now. Now getting to the Giants, where do you want to start, man? Do you want to start with Jake from State Farm? Do you want to start with Glennon in his giraffe neck getting a concussion? How about we start with the Carpenter? Because that's been a hilariously fun topic to talk about with the Giants.
The
Wilson, as in
Carpenter.
Russell Wilson, Marjorie?
Yeah, there is a. It just came out today. There's a report, and Russell Wilson's been linked to the Giants for a while. There's a report that Russell Wilson is willing to waive his trade clause for the following teams: the New York Giants, the Denver Broncos, and I'm missing one of them.
This is not the
New York
first time
Giants.
we've had a quarterback like with that similar type thing waive their trade clause. We're always in this. I don't know if he
Yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
wants to come here or, he's just trying to get off his team.
That's the most troubling thing because it's funny because when that whole debacle was going down last offseason with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, the Giants were also a team that he was interested in as well. So this has to be real. This has to be true. But the thing is, why Russell Wilson? Like I don't even want to do that to him, man. Like he literally was going to leave the Seahawks because of the issues with the offensive line and them not really protecting him and taking care of him.
Real quick, shout out to Mike.
Yeah,
I'll
go
get
ahead,
to your
do that.
no, I'll get to your soup chat when you finish. So go ahead.
Okay, but they were gonna leave. He was gonna leave because of the negligence that was brought forth by the Seahawks as far as Russell Wilson is. Because obviously he's a dual threat quarterback. He's the guy that can get out the pocket and run. So the Seahawks didn't see it as a priority to fix the offensive line. It's been like that since he's been a Seattle Seahawk. The offensive line has always been bad. He was literally going to leave last offseason, but then he names the Giants as a potential landing spot. We literally have probably the second worst offensive line in the league right now. So I don't know if he wants to continue to run for his life, but instead in the Big Apple. But if that's a true statement, then that's something I'm considering. But at this point in Russell Wilson's career, not saying he's not great, he still is a great quarterback. But are we at a point where we can win with Russell Wilson with the amount of years he has left? Or can we build this team in time for Russell Wilson, or should we just start over with a brand new quarterback like a Bryce Young? That's something that you'll have to think about, or people would have to think about, and especially the Giants as an organization would have to think about if they're ready to win now or they're ready to rebuild. I'm honestly, I love Russell Wilson. I'm honestly on the rebuild train. I want to get a quarterback that we can keep for 15, 20 years. I really, really like Bryce Young. I'm a huge fan of Bryce Young. I'm willing to wait for Bryce Young and bridge a quarterback next year. Have Daniel Jones as a bridge or, Teddy Bridgewater as a bridge. But, I'm willing to go on that route. But if the price is right, I guess I could see Russell Wilson coming to New York. But if we're going to give up first round picks, if we're going to give up huge draft capital, I'm not on board with bringing in Russell Wilson just because this team is not in a position to have a quarterback like that late in his career to try to win a Super Bowl.
So I'll say this first off. Shout out to Engraven Vids in here, guys. Go over there, check out Engraven saying Teddy Bridgewater. Funny you mentioned that. Another Giants content creator, Mike Nixon, a couple years in a row have suggested we've done that. And honestly, that would be the move for this offseason, but I think he's like one of the higher paid bridge quarterbacks now. Anyway, for the Russell Wilson thing, though, I guess I'd agree with you. If it doesn't cost much, I wouldn't be rioting, saying the Giants are throwing their franchise down the drain once again or something like that. But I really don't want to get him no matter what. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't want to get him. I really want to do a full rebuild, a full restart. And
I agree.
You could argue so many points that we have done a full rebuild. You could argue so many points that we haven't done a full rebuild. I just want to get with the players that we have right now, build a line. My stance on this has been very, very consistent with the past couple of months. Build the offensive line this draft, get one of those stud edge rushers this draft, and then get your quarterback in the following offseason, whether it's through free agency, through trade, or through the draft. That's been my stance, and I'm gonna stick with that. To be honest, I'm shocked. But yeah, what do you say to that?
But yeah, I completely agree, and I think we're both on the same wavelength when it comes to this. I already have my heart set that. Listen, Daniel Jones just at this point just doesn't look like the guy. I know we've been defenders of him since he's been in the league, and I wasn't somebody that supported us drafting him in the first place, but he was our quarterback. I had to go out and defend the guy. But at this point in his career, it's not that he is necessarily the problem, but he's definitely not the guy to get
He's
us
not
out
the
of the
answer.
problem. Right,
Yeah.
right. He's not the answer. He's not the guy to get us out of this problem. He's not going to win despite of the team that we have, like a Russell Wilson would. But at this point in Russell Wilson's career, I would not be on board with taking him in because, we're just going to sign him in. We're going to trade for him, trade up good draft capital that we can use to help build around him or build around a young quarterback. And, Russell Wilson's going to be stuck fighting for his life, running for his life, getting out the pocket. And it's going to be very similar to what you see in the Seahawks. We may win more games with Russell Wilson. I don't doubt that whatsoever. We may win more games with Russell Wilson, but I don't think this team would be built for the long run unless people are really thinking about the now in like a Peyton Manning situation. You know what I'm saying? But in the same token, I mean, the Denver Broncos, when they brought in Peyton Manning, were just about ready to make a run for the Super Bowl. This team is in no way, shape, or form in a position to bring in a top tier quarterback like this. You're going to be paying a lot of money for him. Like people aren't even considering that. You have to pay, his yearly salary on top of trading for draft capital just to try to, win, 3 or 4 more games, get into a playoffs and just get kicked out. So it's not something that I'm looking for. I really want to wait one more year, see what we have in Daniel. Not that I'm really looking for, Daniel to be the
And
franchise
that's
guy.
yeah, and real quick, that's part of like my not necessarily plan, but my thing as well. Like even by building the line and getting that edge this offseason, it gives Daniel another year to show me some. And if he doesn't show me some, then guess what? 2023
Exactly.
is his replacement.
You're killing two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
You already kind of have the I guess sense that you're going to be drafting a quarterback, early in this next draft wherever you land. You may even trade up for, a Bryce Young in this next draft who I really have my eyes set on. And, the Giants front office, whoever those people will be, because we don't think Dave Gettleman will be there anymore. We see, some other GM, they're going to have their eyes set on getting a new quarterback in this draft, but they're going to wait it out with Daniel Jones as that bridge quarterback, quote unquote.
Yeah,
And,
because he's gonna be cheap.
exactly. He's going to be cheap. He's on the rookie option. You don't want to bring in, like, I was on board with bringing in Teddy Bridgewater if the Giants were to let go of Daniel Jones. But I would rather keep Daniel Jones. He's much cheaper. He was already on this team. And just see what we have in Daniel Jones. Not that I'm really looking, that's kind of like the 1B situation, kind of killing two birds with one stone. I really want to use him as a bridge quarterback, but I also want to see what else he has left, what he can do under his final year. And you could say a contract year for him. This would be make or break for Daniel Jones. See what he is under a lot of pressure. And if that ultimately does not work out, then we cut our losses. We don't take his 5th-year option and we draft the Bryce Young in the next draft. It's really an easier transition than bringing in a Russell Wilson, seeing if we can win for him for 3 or 4 years, and then having to restart all over again.